Dear learners, welcome you again. Today we will explore the family Cucurbitaceae or gourd family. Now first of all, this family is a part of the dicotyledone and that is the subclass Polypetalii and present in the series Caliciflorae. In Caliciflorae, the order of this particular family is Passiflorales. Now moving towards its systematic position. Benthamukkar, as we have seen earlier, that he placed the family in dicotyledone. The subclass is Polypetalii and the series is Caliciflorae that have a cup-like structure, and the order is Passiflorales and the family is Cucurbitaceae. But the systematic position given by England and Prandtl is quite different, as Benthamukkar placed in Polypetalii while England and Prandtl place this family in the Sympetali. That means they have placed in the family which have a fused petals and they giving the order that is the Cucurbitales and the family which is Cucurbitaceae. So there is a two different views of the placement of this particular family of Cucurbitaceae which we will discuss in the last, why they place them in Polypetalii by Benthamukkar and in Sympetali by England and Prandtl system. So moving toward the next topic, that is the distribution of the family Cucurbitaceae. This family is distributed in tropics and in temperate areas. And now coming to the distribution of this particular family, this Cucurbitaceae family is consisting of about 965 species, around 95 genera, and this plant of this family is mostly distributed in tropics and temperate areas, where those with edible fruits are among the earliest cultivated plants in both old and new worlds. And the Cucurbitaceae family ranks among the highest of the plant families for number of percentage of species used for human food. So this particular family yield many economically important food for human. Now moving toward the vegetative characters of this particular family and starting from the habit. The habit of this family is a very diagnostic feature of this family, as the plants of this family are mainly have a trailing or decumbent annual perennial herbs, as they can see here. The stems of these plants families are weak and they trail or climb over the different plants or other support due to the presence of the tendrils. So these plants climb by means of a laterally spirally coiled or simple branch tendril, as we can see here. The root system of these plants are, they have a taproot system, and stem, because these plants are herb, they are herbaceous stem with branched, and all over the stem there is the presence of a hairs, as we can see here. And in general the stems are five angular with anatomically they have a two rows of bicollateral vascular bundles. That is the one of the characteristic features of this particular family Cucurbitaceae. And the leaves in general simple with alternate phyllotaxy. As we can see here, the leaves show the alternate phyllotaxy with long petiole, as we can see here, and generally they are cordate. In some plants, the leaves may be show the palmately or pinnately lobe, and the petioles are often hollow, and the stipules in this particular family is absent. Now moving toward the next floral characters, that is inflorescence. In this particular family, inflorescence, because now moving toward the next floral characteristic, that is the inflorescence. This family is, the flower of this family is generally monoecious or dioecious. So they have a bisexual or unisexual flower. The inflorescence is very in generally female reproductive, Female flower, there is a cymose type or maybe axillary or solitary female flowers. While in case of a male flower, they are maybe solitary or in the form of raceme, corymb or panicles. And the plants are monoecious, sometimes dioecious, as in case of coccinea, cordifolia and mamodica dioecious. The flowers are generally yellow, as in yellow or white in color. In general, they are unisexual, but rarely also bisexual. They show actinomorphic symmetry, pentamerous. That means they have all the polar parts in the multiples of 5. And the next important thing, that is the epigynous ovary, but it may be rarely it is a perigynous in case of actinostemma. The thalamus form a cup-like structure at the ovary. So we can see here, as we can see here, the presence of epigynous ovary and thalamus is forming a cup-like structure. That's why this family is placed in the order according to Bentham Hooker in the Caliciflorae. So it's clearly showed that the ovary is inferior in this particular family. And this is the pistillate flower or female flower, and this one is the male flower, that is also called as the staminate flower. Now moving towards the next floral character, that is the calyx. Calyx in general, they are present in the 5 gamosepalous and pointed. As we can see here, the calyx are pointed, campanulate with estivation, that is the imbricate. Corolla number also 5. They are gamopetalous, sometimes united at the base, or in case of as petals are 5 gamopetalous and united at the base in case of Mimordica, and they are united throughout in case of Cucurbitaceae and Coccinea, while polypetalous in case of Leuca and Lagenaria. And they may be campanulate, rotate or imbricate, rotate with imbricate or valvate estivation. As we can see here, the corolla, which is united at the base. Now moving towards the next characteristics, that is androecium. And androecium present in only in the male flowers. And male flowers in general, they are produced in large number in plants. So number of androecium in general is 5, and they are sometimes free or form a column, as we can see here. And anthers are diathecous, extros, dehisced, longitudinally or in curves. As we can see here, the anthers are curved. Then androecium may be modified in several ways with varying degree of fusion, and the most common is synandrous condition. That means the stamens is fused throughout their length from filament to anthers. That is the synandrous condition, in which the anthers are fused there throughout their length. And in male flowers, gynoecium is either absent or rudimentary. So this is the floral formula of the male flower, which shows that they have a radial symmetry. This symbol represents male flower. Calyx, which are gamosepalous. Corolla, their number is 5. Androecium is also 5. Then that vary in the depending upon the species to species, they are free or united. And in the male flowers, the gynoecium number is absent or it may be rudimentary. Now moving towards the female flower, and female flower produced in very less number in the than the male flowers. As we can see, we can identify the female flower by the presence of the inferior ovary, which is present below the flower. For this, we can easily identify that this is the female flower by seeing the inferior ovary. In female flower, there is a presence of staminodes, which they are in the either 0, 3 or 5. And the gynoecium is typically made up of tricarpellary syncarpus inferior ovary with unilocular and parietal presentation. As we can see here, this TS of ovary showing the parietal presentation, and the placenta is bifid at the tips, appearing like it is a dividing this placenta, giving like a, it become a ovary like a trilocular, and it is a bitegmix. So here there are several ovules are arranged, and the style are stout and columnar and bears a 4 stigma of each carpel, as we can see here. So at the base of the style there is a presence of a nectary, as we can see here, and this one is the style and this is the stigma. In loofah, the ovary is narrow and ultimately they are threefold cell, and apparently of they show the exile presentation. So loofah show the exile presentation, while all other plants they are showing the parietal presentation with unilocular ovary. And the floral formula of the female flower is they also radially symmetrical. This symbol represents the female flower. Calyx is gamosepalous. Corolla are 5 in number. They may be free. Anducium, they may be 0, 3 or 5 and in the form of staminodes. And gynoecium generally tricarpellary and with inferior ovary, as we can see from here. So these are the some characteristics of the female flowers. Now moving towards the next floral part, that is fruit. The fruit of this family is fleshy, indehiscent and a berry or pepo, which we can see here number of pepo fruit which is represented by this family, and in fruits are sometimes very large in size, as in case of citrullus or in cucurbita. In Ecabelium, the fruit is highly turgid when ripe and dispersed is by a explosion. So this is the fruits which is represented of the this family. Now moving towards the diagnostic characteristics of this particular family. As we have already seen that this family has a climbing habits, and the for the climbing they have a tendrils. This one is the diagnostic feature of this family. Then presence of a leaves which are palmately veined. Then flowers are unisexual, as we have seen they have a male and female flowers. Then stamens are 5, but they are union in variously varied. In some they are fully, all the 5 are free. In some all the 5 are fused. In some they are maybe present in 2 to 3 groups. 2 groups are fused, 2 groups are fused. So there is a variously united, and the fusion of the stamens is, that is the synandrous condition. This means if there is a fusion take place, the whole stamens are united from base to filament to anthers. This is the synandrous condition, which is the characteristic of the family Cucurbitaceae. Then carpels are usually 3 tricarpellary syncarpous with inferior ovary, and fruits are berry or pepo. All these characteristics, as we can see here, the flowers are showing regular symmetry. The ovary is inferior, which is clearly visible here, and anthers, there is a number of 3. They may be curved, and the fruits which is berry or pepo. And the next important thing, the seeds, they have a flattened seeds, as we can see here. So these are the some diagnostic features of the family Cucurbitaceae. This slides show the some important plants of the family Cucurbitaceae in the alphabetical order. Like the first one is the Benicassa aspida, which is commonly called as white guards. Then the next one is the Citrullus fistulus, that is called as tinda. Then Citrullus vulgaris, which is commonly called as watermelon. Then Coccinia indica or cordifolia, which is called as dandakaya. Then Cucumis melo, which is commonly called as cucumber. Then Cucumis melo mimodica, that is called foot. Then Cucumis melo utili miss, that is kakadi. Then Cucumis sativus, that is the cucumber. Then Cucurbita maxima, that is red pumpkin. Then Cucurbita moscata, which is pumpkin. Then Cucurbita pepo, that is the field pumpkin. And Cyclothera species, Eclabium, Langeria. This is the bottle gourd. Then Lupa actangula, which is commonly called as ribbed gourd, or Lupa cylindrical, which is called as gourd or native birkaya, or Mimodica carentia, that is the bitter gourd, Syzygium, Trichosanthum, that is the snake gourd, and Trichosanthum dulcis, which is the pointed gourd. So this is the some important plants of the Cucurbitaceae family, and as we can see here, this family represents so many vegetables as well as fruits which can be used by the humans from the early times. These slides show the twig of a cucurbita. This is a cucurbita pepo slide showing the characteristics of family Cucurbitaceae. As we can see here, there is the alternate leaves, which has the palmately venation. Then this is the female flower showing inferior ovary, and we can also see the stamens have a multiple hairs, the presence of tendrils. So these are the some characteristics. As in the this one is the male flower and this one is the female flower. It is showing a androecium, and this is the gynoecium of the family, which is showing the inferior ovary, and this is showing the disc. This one is the floral formula of the male part, which is showing that the stamens are present in three groups. Two are united and two are present in one group and one is the unguent. So this is the cylindrous condition. And female flower, you can see there is a presence of a parietal presentation, which is also can be seen in the case of the, this is the TS of ovary, and this one has the fruit pepo. So this slide showing the all the characteristics of the family Cucurbitaceae. You can here see all the features which we have discussed earlier present in this particular slides, from climbing habit to the fruit, that is pepo. Now the next figure is, there is the present the next figure is shown here, that is the twig and the floral diagrams of the Coccinea grandis, which is the one of the most common plants in Indian gardens. Like this one is the male flowering twig and this one is the female flowering twig. We can easily identify female flower, as I have told you earlier, that the female flower is easily identified by the presence of inferior ovary, and here you can see the male flowers, the presence of tendril. Then here you can see the stamens are present in two groups, or the stamens here are curved. And female flower, you can see the ileus of female flower, the stigma is divided into biped structure. Here you can see the floral diagram of the male and female flower. Here you can see the presence of two groups of androecium, and here you can see the presence of a dicarpillary syncarpus and in parietal presentation. So this is the all diagrams associated with the Coccinea grandis. Now coming towards the economic importance of the family Cucurbitaceae. We have already discussed that so many plants of this particular family are known as a vegetable and as well as a fruits. So I will discuss here in short, like many species of cucurbita and cucurbits like Cucumis melo, that is in Hindi called as kharbuja. This is a fruit. Similarly, Cucumis melo variety Mimodica, that is termed as food. Then Cucumis melo variety Utissimus, that is known as the kakadi. Then Cucumis sativa, that is termed as the khira. Then Citulus vulgaris in Hindi, that is termed as the tarboos. Then Cucurbita maxima, which is Hindi termed as the kaddu. Then Benicassa hispida, in Hindi they are termed as the petha. Then Lagenaria vulgaris, the Hindi name of this is Loki. Then Trichosanthes dioeciea, in Hindi it is known as the Parval. Then Lufa actangula, in Hindi it is termed as the Torai. And Emomodica carantia, which is in Hindi termed as the Kerala. Besides this vegetable and fruits plants, this particular family has also medicinal value, like Citrulus colocynthis produces alkaloid called colocynthine from its fruits, and the fruits and the roots are used against snake bites. The alkaloid is also used in other diseases, and Ibalium elaterium fruits produces elaterium of medicine, which has a narcotic effect and useful for the hydrophobia. Besides these medicinal properties, some plant of this particular family Cucurbitaceae are used as ornamentals, like Ibelium, Shetium, Seos are grown in gardens, and some fruits of the species like Benicasta and Langeria are their pericarp are so hard that is used for the making of the musical instrument and for the decorative items. And as we have seen that the loofah, dried fibrous tissue of the fruit rind of this plant is used as a loofah sponge. Now moving towards the primitive characters of this particular family. The leaves simple and alternate, flowers are actinomorphic, and petals and stamens are free in some genera, and ovules are bitegmic. So all these are the primitive characteristics, but we can see here there are very few primitive characters here mentioned, and this slide showing the some advanced characters of the family Cucurbitaceae, like plants are herbaceous with climbing habit. Corolla is gamocephalous in most of the genera. Similarly, complex structure of stamens, that is loss of anther lobes, cynandrium formation, and curved anther lobes. These are the some advanced character present in the androecium, and flowers are epigynous, unisexual, and this unisexuality is derived from the condition supported by the presence of bisexual flower in schizopepon. Then occurrence of a collateral vascular bundles and large wood vessels. So we can see there are so many advanced characteristics present in this particular family. That's why the systematic position of this particular family is quite uh, different of Benthamucca and Engler and Prantal. So the affinities of this particular family Cucurbitaceae, as we can see, the relationship of this family have been much disputed due to the presence in some genera there is a gamopetalous condition, in some there is a polypetalous condition. Then stamens also in there is some free, in some there is a united in cylindrous condition. So these characteristics make this position of this family is very disputed, like different authors according to the Robert Brown, D. Condole, and Bentham and Hooker. Families allied to the Passifloraceae, as we seen in the systematic position, and with perigynous polypetally under the series Caliciflori. But Eichler, Endel, and Witten, on the other hand, they consider to be very advanced family, as we have seen that they show the sympathy due to the gamopetalous corolla and epigynous condition and the presence of cyanandrous stamens. So these are the advanced characteristics. Due to these regions, they place this family under the Cucurbitaceae orders, and the Cucurbitaceae orders, and due to the cyanandrous condition, they compare the affinities of this family more toward the Campanulaceae family and with the Campanales order due to the presence of bicollateral vascular bundles. So regarding the nature of the presentation, there are also different opinions, as we have seen that there is a presence of a parietal presentation, but in some it tend to the exile one. So Willis, Eichler, and England Western consider that presentation is exile, whereas Hooker, Warming, and Rendell etc. supported parietal nature of presentation. So these are the some disputed characters due to the presence of primitive as well as the advanced characteristics. The author have a different views by placing this family, either it is a primitive or it is advanced. So we can conclude that the Benthemucca, they placed them in a polypetally, while the Engler and planter placed them in a more due to the presence of a Gymnocephalus condition in the more advanced family, and they consider it more advanced due to the presence of Gymnopetalous condition and Synandrous condition of the stamen, and they placed in the sympatly. So as we have discussed these things, now that's all for today's lecture. Thank you all for joining this session. Thank you very much.